Happy Friday! I'm back in Andy's room with Jesse, and today I'm going to build the outdoor play area in the backyard, which will finish the build exercise for this toy box. But before I do, I want to remind you that I'm going to be taking the next week off to enjoy the fall weather here where I live, so there will not be a new episode next Friday. The next episode in this series will air 2 weeks from today on November 5th. Alright, let's get started with the build exercise for the outdoor play area. And of course that's going to be out here. This location is not based on any specific scenes from the Toy Story movies. I just wanted a place where the players could go to get away from the confines of the room and make the toy box world feel larger than it is. And personally, I think it's kind of fun to go in and out through the window to access this area, just like the toys do in the movies. So the first thing we're going to do, let's get this starting pad out of here. And I'm going to move this up and put it on top of the bed. That's where I like to start, in here. I know some of you who are recreating this have put it on the floor, but in the Toy Story movies, the toys always seem to start here on the bed, and so that's what I'm going to do. And we'll put this about here. Okay. And then we're going to use this large flat terrain block, and we're going to bring this up here even with the bottom edge of the blocks there for the room, and I'm going to bring this right out to the edge. And about like this. I'll give you a little bit closer look so you can see how this is aligned. And let's go ahead and style this. And I'm going to use Mickey's Fantastic Farmstead. I'll set that to be the theme. The texture on this just works really well for the scale, because it kind of looks like, with the flowers and stuff that are there, that it's pretty large compared to the scale of the characters. And then we're going to put one more block over here just to go the length of the house. So like that. And at this point we can come down here and delete the original terrain block. The game will finally let us do that. So there's our outdoor area. It's not very big, but it'll do. Alright, for the next part of this, we're going to begin with the rail slide coming out of the window, because that kind of determines where a few things are. So we're going to go down to the platforming toys drawer and go left, and I am looking for this right upward curving rail, and I'm going to put this right up here on the center of the window like that. And then we're going to use one more rail piece. It'll be this spiral, and we'll connect this like that. And that's all we need for the rail slide. And then we'll go ahead and open the styling menu for this. And I'm going to use the beanstalk rail spiral. And I'm going to theme all. Are you sure? Yes. And there we go. That, again, just fits the scale of this really well. So I like that. All right. Let's go now up to the blocks drawer. Oops, basic blocks. We're going to pick up this long block. We're going to put this down right up here next to the edge of the rail slide, centered on it. And we're going to set the theme, and I'm going to use the castle brick. And I'm going to put 4 of these. And we're going to build kind of a little planter here. Like that. And then in the middle, we can put this thin and tiny terrain block. And that'll sit right there in the middle like that. So there we have kind of a nice little planter. And you got to have some plants in the planter. And these Toy Story trees look kind of like mushrooms or something. So I thought those would work kind of nice. They go well here with the scale of this. We'll put one like this. We'll put another one here in this corner like that. All right, so there is the rail slide and the little planter that's down here on the ground. I think the next thing we'll do is we'll put the plants around the perimeter. So we're going to use these customizable pieces. And let me just find my screen grab here. Getting texts while I'm recording, in case you wonder what that sound was. I'm going to go ahead and theme these a little bit later. For right now, we're just going to put them in. Because changing the theme on these is going to cause the size of these to grow and expand for the bounding boxes, and I won't be able to put them up close to each other, so I want to make sure I'm able to do that. We're going to use this Fantasy Terrain Corner 1 in this corner, and then along here we're going to place one of these and a second of these and then one of these like that. Okay. And then along this side, and this is just kind of creating a boundary around the toy box here, so the edge of this isn't so abrupt. And I'm just going to alternate these along the side of this here, and then we'll use Fantasy Terrain Corner 2 on that corner. And on this side, put these in like that. Okay, so I like that. Now let's go ahead and theme them. So the ones along the base of the house, we're going to use the Pirates theme. So this is from the Pirates of the Caribbean. And if you don't have that playset, you can use any number of these, the Pixie Hollow foliage or whatever. If you're not going to use the Pirates terrain strip, I recommend waiting to style this until near the end. But since I'm using this, I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'm going to apply. And this just creates what looks like little weeds and things growing along the base of the house. So I really like that. Just matches the scale of this really well. Okay. And then I'm going to do the same thing for these two over on this end. All right, let's pick up over here. And with this one, we're going to change the theme now to use the Pixie Hollow edging. And to make this easier, let's go ahead and style all of those. And we don't have to keep scrolling in this list. And again, the scale of this just matches really well. The Pixie Hollow edging works so well because the flowers and things are pretty huge. All right, and then we're going to use Pixie Hollow for these as well. You can see with the mushrooms and the flowers, the scale of this just fits perfectly with the toy box here in the outdoor area. You can see the bounding box on these grows significantly. is much wider. So that's why it's a good idea to put these down before you style them. Alright, for this corner piece, once again, we will use the Pixie Hollow theme. That adds a really nice little corner flower there. And we'll do the same theme for this one. Pixie Hollow tree stump. Alright, so there's the perimeter of our yard. It's pretty small, but doesn't have to be big. The next thing we will do is put in the fort, and you'll find this up under Building Sets Group 3 if you have the Toy Box Takeover playset. If you don't have that playset, then I would recommend using the Ewok Village pieces from the Rise Against the Empire playset. But these are ideal. So we're going to use these, and I'm going to put the first one right on the seam between these two plants. About a half a block out, maybe a little bit further, so we can get behind it if we want. Oops. Just gotta make this work the way I want. Alright, and then the tower on the front, like that. The gate. And another tower. And then we don't really have a piece that's small enough to fit in here, so we're going to use this little piece, which will create a little protrusion on the inside, but there's really not much you can do about that, unfortunately. I don't know if you can hear that on the video or not, but I probably should have muted my phone, put it in airplane mode or something before I started recording, so I apologize for that. Alright, there is our fort. And then we're going to come back down to the blocks drawer, and I'm going to put this tall block right in the middle. About like that. And I'm going to change the theme on this to use the Wood 1 theme. I'll apply that. And that wood texture just really matches the color of the fort, so I like that a lot. And then this is going to be where we put the catapult. And I think the catapult is down here under Instant Fun. Yeah. So we'll put this, actually it's the Slingshot. We'll put that up here on the top. And then we need a way to get up there. And for that, we'll go to the Platforming Toys drawer once again. Oops. We'll go over to the ledge hangs. And of course it's not going to let me put that up there because of that cannon that's up there. Let's see. I'll lift this up out of the way and see if it'll let us. See what happens if we put that up there. Will it let us put this down? It does. That's just goofy. Alright, and then we'll go ahead and style this to use the castle ledge hang. I'll set that to be the theme. this bottom one, we don't need one that tall. We'll put the smaller one in here instead. Alright, so now we have the catapult and a way to get up there. So this is starting to look pretty good. Alright, let's add a couple of trees. And fortunately, the Ewok village trees fit the scale of this perfectly. So you'll find those under Building Sets Group 1. And we'll begin over here next to the window. And I kind of like putting one over here because you'll be able to see this one from the room. And let me make sure I orient this the way I had it before. I had it like that. One more, actually. No, actually, that's fine. I like that. Okay, and then we'll put another one over here on the opposite corner. Like that. And then we have these trees that have leaves on them, but they're only on 3 sides. So we're going to center these on here like this, and I'm going to turn this to put the bare side facing that way. We'll put another one here too, but I don't want to put this one directly like this because it starts to look a little repetitive, so you're going to want to turn this. I'm going to turn mine like this, so you see the leaves from the inside of the house. And then if you go a little more to the right, you have these treetops. And I'm going to use the tall treetop, and we'll put this one up here, and I think we'll rotate it like that. And then we'll put another one over here, another series of these. And I think I put this with the... Yeah, the bare spot is facing that way initially. This one will face this way. Oops. This one will go back this way. And then we'll use the tall treetop again, like that. And the scale of those just fits this toy box really well. So now when you're inside the house, you see some trees out there, and they look like they fit the scale of this just fine. All right. Now the last thing we want to do, the outside of the house doesn't look right because this is the color of the walls on the inside. So what we're going to do is add some siding to the house so that it doesn't show that blue or the wainscoting. So we'll come back to the basic blocks. We're going to go to the left. We're going to pick up this large block wall, and we'll start down here along the bottom. And you're going to want to orient it like this, not like that, because you'll notice that sticks out past the edge of the wall. You want this flush with the wall. And I'm going to set the theme on this to be our plastic 2. Oops, there it goes. And then we're just going to cover up all of the ugliness from the inside. And by the way, this is why we rotate it, because if we don't, we're going to probably run into these rail slide pieces. And then at this point, you're just going to cover the outside of the house. Cover up all the blue. And since this is flush with the windows, it doesn't look too out of the ordinary to have this white out here. Kind of looks like it's supposed to. You could use a different color if you wanted, other than white. It would stand off against the window frames. The only problem is the wainscoting top and bottom edges are still white, and you wouldn't expect to see those outside. So at least that looks normal, somewhat normal. So that's a good thing. But if you wanted to, and you didn't mind having this row of white out here along the middle of the wall, you could set this to be some kind of a brick or something like that. If the brick pieces, it didn't look too small with the brick. A stucco would be good. Maybe the Agrabah stucco or something like that. That would work. But I think white is fine. There we go. With that, the build exercise for Andy's room is done. All we have left to do is add the ceiling, but as I mentioned last time, it's easier if you wait and do that at the end. Next time, we'll start working on the logic for this toy box. Until then, I want to thank you for watching, and thank you for all the positive comments and feedback so far. I really appreciate it. Before you go, don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done that. Have a great weekend.